Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam Academy. Today we are going to discuss about India Employment Report 2024, which was released by two organizations together along with our economic advisor. Okay, chief economic advisor. We have these three have contributed and they have released some data with respect to the level of employment. Okay, so whether it brought any positive news or negative news for the country, we'll look into the aspects in a short while. But before that, let us understand this India Employment Report 2024. Okay, this was brought by International Labour Organization ILO, and there is another organization called or Institute for Human Development. Okay, these two organizations or institutes, they have combinedly brought this report, taking the data from where they have taken this data means from National Sample or Statistical Office along with periodic labor force survey reports. Okay, so which are released by the government with respect to employment status according to these data. Okay, so from the government they have taken the data and they have combined this data in this form of the report called India Employment Report 2024. So now we are going to discuss this report. What did it say? What are the key highlights and what are the positive aspects and negative aspects? At the same time, we'll also understand what is unemployment. Okay, in this video only we'll understand what is unemployment, what is causing unemployment in India, because this is a very bad sign for the economy. So always unemployment ratio should be very low. Then only we can have fruitful economic growth. So what is causing in this unemployment? We'll understand what are the types of unemployment from static part. Okay. At the same time, we'll also know what are the government steps taken in this regard to solve the problem of unemployment. Okay. So we'll understand in a detailed way. Then let us start the discussion. Let's see what are the points of discussion here, why it is a news. I will also look into what is this International Labour Organization and what are the main details of this organization and the key reports also that it is going to release. At the same time, what is this Institute of Human Development, what is its role, we'll look into. Then what are the types of unemployment, causes of unemployment in India. At the same time, what are the highlights of this, key highlights of this report. Okay, so then we'll understand what are the government initiatives taken for providing employment facilities. Okay, so these are the things which we look into, and this forms part of GS paper 3 in UPSC mains in economy section, especially in the aspect of employment. So here why it is a news, because International Labour Organization and Human Development Institute, okay, Institute for Human Development, these together published a report called India Employment Report 2024 for the upcoming prelims or even TSPSC also. This can be a potential question. They can say a statement on who brought this report, or they can also ask about particular findings of the report, or even in your mains answers also related to employment, you can quote the data from this report stating the source also. So then what is the main organization here involved is International Labour Organization. So what is its role in this particular thing? Before that, we'll understand when it was created and how it is created in all the aspects. Okay, so this was the like one of the oldest intergovernmental organization which was formed even before UN also. You can say it was formed in 1919, immediately after signing of this Treaty of Versailles. You know, this was signed after conclusion of World War One. You know, World War One was fought between Allied powers versus Axis powers in the period of 1914 to 1919. So immediately after the World War One, we have this Treaty of Versailles, under which we have formed this International Labour Organization, mainly to safeguard labor rights. Okay, so you know, social justice. So this is a main aspect of International Labour Organization. If you have remembered, in even in Indian preamble also, there is one of the objective of our Indian Constitution is justice along with liberty, equality, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These are the objectives we have to. In terms of justice, if you see again, it was divided into three things. One is social justice, economic justice, and political justice. Here, to realize social justice, this ILO is functioning at the global level. Okay, not only into the with respect to Indian preamble, but as a whole. Okay, social justice is very important to achieve this. ILO is always striving. Then do remember that this is the only tripartite right agreement or organization, you can say, means this organization have three parties to it. What are those three parties mainly means? You should understand. One is employer. Employer means who is employing or who is giving the job. Then employee who is getting the job also will be one party along with the governments. So it is only tripartite organization in the world. Okay, do remember this, where they have equal representation given to employer, employee, and the government. So then do remember that in 1946, immediately after formation of UN, it was given a specialized agency status. If you have remembered, around 15 agencies are there under UN which have this specialized agency status. Okay, UNESCO is a specialized agency. You have WHO, like this many number of organizations are there, and ILO is also one such organization. And do remember, in 1969, International Labour Organization was awarded with Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, for its contributions towards labor welfare and all. In 1969, it was awarded Nobel Peace Prize. Then where is it headquartered? Means it was headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland. Do remember, okay, Geneva in Switzerland. Then what are the objectives? To promote social justice, at the same time protecting the human and labor rights, welfare of these persons especially. And do remember, it is headquartered in Geneva, as I told you. Then objectives of ILO is mainly to set standards with respect to rights at work. Okay, so what are the safeguards that you need to provide for the employee, employer, what they have to take, the preventions or measures in respect of providing employment, all those things. Okay, then creating greater opportunities for men and women to decent employment and income. Because so if women are there, if you know, under maternity benefit act, creche facilities have to be provided. No? We have seen there are this mandatory thing, in case if there are more than 10 employees, then creche facilities have to be provided to the women. So such things are mandatory, like washroom should be provided. And for men also, some specific safeguards have to be taken. Okay, like there should be some fencing around the dangerous equipment or something. Okay, fire existing wishes should be there, and all these things, some precautionary things have to be there. And if you have remembered, what is the article in DPSP which gives equal rights to the laborers with respect to management? Answer in the comment section. And which act or which particular amendment introduced the directive principle? Answer in the comment section. Then enhancing the coverage and effectiveness of social protection. Because if you see, most of the labor are devoid of the social protection, which is very important. Okay, so the social protection is almost, it is very much important, because in after their retirement, okay, they have to get pensions, gratuity, all these things, compensation in case of any accident. So such things have to be safeguarded. So this is also one objective. Then tripartism, as I told you, employer, employee, and government. Okay, along with social dialogue. So in case if you have remembered, in India we have different number of labor laws, like we have Industrial Disputes Act, Trade Unions Act, we have like these things. Okay, so in which in any act, if you see, there will be equal access to both the management as well as the employees, because both have to be treated equally. Through mutual dialogue only, there is provision for resolving the disputes also, like we have labor courts and arbitration, all these are there. Okay, even mediation is also there in case of settlement of disputes like this. These are the main objectives of ILO. Then membership, if you see, currently 187 member countries are having membership in ILO, and India is a founding member. Means since 1919 we are having membership since its establishment. Then do remember, to become ILO member country, any UN member country can become the ILO member country. That is only prerequisite one which is required to become a member of ILO. Then if you see, there will be some conditions that will be specified by the Director General. If it accepts all those obligations, then this can be according to the ILO constitution, then they can easily be granted membership. And do remember, in 2021, India assumed chairmanship of ILO Governing Council. Okay, in ILO Governing Council, India has assumed chairmanship in 2021 in the recent times. Do remember this. Then what are the reports released by ILO? World Social Protection Report, Global Wage Report, and also World Employment Related Report, and Social Outlook and Social Outlook World of Work report also was released. Okay, so these are all the main reports which are released by ILO. Then we'll know about the Institute of Human Development. So this institute was established in 1998 under the aegis of Indian Society for Labor Economics. This is not intergovernmental. Okay, it is a separate institute, you can say. Then what is the main objective of this is to promote inclusive social, economic, and political system which is free from poverty and deprivations. There should not be gap between haves and have-nots. Okay, so this why gap should be narrowed narrowed down. That is what the objective of inclusive system. Okay, then they also are striving for rights in labor, employment, livelihood, gender, health, and education related aspects and other forms of development. Okay, these are the things for which this organization is working. Now, what are the key highlights? We'll understand. Okay, so what is this report saying? This is a third report. Okay, this is third in series. Very important to be remembered in examination perspective. They can ask these things. Okay, and it was currently by IHD as well as ILO. Do remember this. You already know. Then what is the main challenge is youth employment is becoming a challenge. Why? Because now you know India is having demographic dividend. Okay, so it is expected that it will continue for another decade. Means maximum by 2040. If you can leverage, then only we have this demographic dividend. By after 2040, our aging population will be there. That means we don't have more youth population, but we'll have more aging population. So that will result in a negative way on the economy because there won't be many number of people who are in the working age. So it will always have negative impact on the economy. So now as we have the youth population high in entire world, now only it is the time to reap this benefits of demographic dividend. That is what the key highlight of this report. Then they're also giving some trends in the labor market as well as the challenges which are there in the market. Okay, so before that understanding the key highlights, let us understand what are the types of unemployment. Okay, so here you need to understand unemployment is a situation. Okay, so unemployment is a situation who is in a situation where a person is actively searching for job, but in case if he's not finding job, okay, not finding job, then we can call it as unemployment. He has to be ready for the job, but when he is not finding job which is equivalent to his skill and education, then we can call it as unemployment. Okay, so then we'll understand this unemployment will measure and it will depict the health of the economy. It will measure the health of the economy. Do remember this. Because now in the recent times, yesterday also I told you, okay, normally India's growth rate is jobless growth rate. Okay, this is most important. We are achieving growth rate in number of in quantitative terms, but there is no qualitative growth rate or which is realized by a characteristic called jobless growth rate. It is not at all good for the Indian economy. That is why always unemployment is a measure which will determine the health of the economy. So these are the things which you need to remember. Then who is measuring this unemployment in India means previously we have National Sample Survey Organization, but now we have NSO. This will be under MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So this will be analyzing different categories based on that they're assessing what is the level of unemployment. So first is working, the people who are already in employed status. Okay, so they are one category under this NSSO measure. Then we have who are seeking to work or willing to work. Okay, but they are not finding work, then you can call them unemployed. Okay, these are one category. Then we have some people who are neither seeking work nor available for work. So these are the third category. So based on these three categories, unemployment level is assessed by NSSO in the country. So before that, you need to remember what is unemployment rate. How you will measure the unemployment rate means number of unemployed workers divided by total labor force, you can say. Total labor force means how many are there already in the employment into 100. If you calculate, this will give you what is the rate of unemployment in the economy. Okay, so this is what you have to remember. Then we'll understand what is this unemployment trap. Unemployment trap is very important. Okay, these type of questions they can ask directly, statement based questions. Okay, so unemployment trap means the people who are unemployed. Okay, these unemployed people, because of the benefits they're getting, be it in the form of unemployment allowance or universal basic income or some other way. Okay, so these unemployed persons, because of the benefits they're getting, they show willingness to be unemployed in spite of searching, or like you can say otherwise. For example, in what way I can frame it better is unemployed people's benefits. Okay, so what they're receiving will discourage them to find or to go for work. Okay, that is what you can say as unemployment trap. Means whatever the benefits they're getting, that will discourage them or demotivate them from going to work. That is nothing but unemployment trap. So this term is very important. Okay, then we'll understand what are the types of unemployment. So many things. Okay, these type of questions can also be asked in prelims. Okay, first thing we have is disguised unemployment. So what is this disguised unemployment means? Where the marginal productivity is zero. Marginal productivity is zero. Marginal productivity, when we can call it zero, means, for example, I'll make it easy for you. If 100 people are there in a factory, okay, these are actual members, total members. But actually, if you see, out of 100, even with 40 members also, if you are able to do the same work, okay, then the rest of the 60 members are of no use, no, means the productivity of these 60 members is zero. Although you are having 60 members, but 40 members, they themselves are doing this 100 members work, no. So these 60 members are considered as disguised unemployed, or their marginal productivity is zero. So such employment we call as disguised unemployment. Okay, if more number of people are employed than actually needed, that is what you call as disguised unemployment. So first category. Then second category we have is seasonal unemployment. So what is seasonal unemployment? Seasonal means, in some part of the year or certain seasons. Okay, for example, agriculture laborers are there. So agriculture, you have Kharif season or Rabi season, like this only. So at that time only they can have work. Rest of the season they don't have work. They have to find alternative employments. Okay, so unemployment that occurs during specific part of the year or certain time of the year, that is called as seasonal unemployment. Then we have structural unemployment. Third category is structural. Structural unemployment means what? If there is a mismatch between job as well as skill. Okay, so these two things have to be matched, no? But if there is no gap, or if there is a mismatch between the job and the required skills, then we call it as structural unemployment. Then we have cyclical unemployment. So what is the cyclical unemployment means? This unemployment, normally cyclical, will increase during recession periods. What is recession? Recession means, in case if you are having negative growth rate during two consecutive quarters, we call it recession. So if this type of unemployment will increase during increase during recession, and it will decrease when you are achieving economic growth rate. So such particular unemployment we call as cyclical. So this is normally seen in capitalist economies like USA. This is not observed in case of India. It is not normally seen in Indian case. So these are the initial primary types of unemployment. Then we also have technological unemployment. Technological unemployment means easy because of technological changes. Okay, for example, if there is automation, sudden automation, previously there is labor intensive plant, but now as part of modernization they have introduced some automatic machines. So here the person, because of lack of skill with respect to operation of that machine or something, he may lose his employment. Such things are called technological unemployment. Okay, then we have frictional unemployment, or search, also we call search unemployment. So what happens here is, this is the time which is taken to switch between jobs, you can say. So what happens is, if in case if you are currently working in one job, but you wanted to get a better opportunity, so that you will resign this job and you will try to find out better job. So the time required to search between these two things is called frictional employment unemployment, or search unemployment. Then we have unemployment trap. This is already I told you. Okay, so sometimes we'll also hear one term called vulnerable employment. Vulnerable employment is also one term which you need to know. So what is this means? Vulnerable unemployment means, normally the persons who are working employed only, but without any social security or social protection. So then these type of people, we call it as vulnerable employment. Okay, because lack of social protection will always have lot of difficulties in their continuation of employment. So this is one term which you need to remember. Then we look into what are the causes of unemployment. Causes of unemployment are, first one, lack of education. Lack of education. Second thing is gap or mismatch between academic or academia requirements, or whatever the academic things are there, and industries demand. Okay, academia industry gap you can call. This is also increasing. Then increase in population. Fourth, you can say primarily primarily depending on agriculture or livelihood opportunities. More people are there than what is required. So this type of thing is also associated with Indian economy. Then another factor you can say is immobility of labor. This is also causing of unemployment means in case if you're not having proper employment opportunities in your place because of some reasons like whatever the religious reasons or the language or climate or any other factors, regional factors, you are showing reluctance to change your place. In like if you think there is a better opportunity if you move outside of your town or city or something, but still in case if you're not willing to move, that is called immobility of labor. Okay, so these are different causes for unemployment. Then what are the impacts of unemployment? So what happens normally? There would be increase in crime rate. Okay, so social crimes will increase in the society. Then it will lead to loss of human resources. Loss of human resources also is one factor. And GDP also, growth rate also will decrease if there is more unemployment in the country. So do remember there is one particular term you need to remember is Phillips curve. Phillips curve means which shows there is inverse relationship between inflation and unemployment. So this is what you have to remember, Phillips curve, inflation and employment. Then what are the key highlights? We'll understand what is this report highlighting. So here this report is saying that has collected the data between 2002 to 2022 from the National Sample Surveys and Periodic Labor Force Surveys. So if you have remembered, in 2023 only we have this Periodic Labor Force Survey released. So by whom? It is by NSO, National Statistical Office. So this started Periodic Labor Force Survey from 2017 onwards. So this was released in 23. So what is this data saying? In males, what is the labor force participation means? It is 69.2%. Previously, it used to be 68.3%. That means almost 1% increase in male participation. And surprisingly, female participation also increased from 18.9% to 21% around. Okay, that means this is notable. So we should have even more labor force participation rate in females, but it was increasing. That is a positive sign. And even if you have remembered in the recent HDI, there is HDR report, you can see there is gender inequality index in which India was ranked to 108. No? In that they have identified that male labor force participation overall. Okay, so this is with respect to urban areas if you see normally, but here in case if you see overall male participation, if it is 76% in the labor force, female participation is only 28.3. This is very less. Okay, so there is so much gap, 48% gap is there. So this is what not good sign. So these things are already highlighted. These type of things you can quote in gender inequalities, income inequalities, or even unemployment related data also you can quote such things. Now what are the recent findings of the report? We'll understand. So as I told you, labor force participation rate in females, okay, that after significant decline in the recent times only it has increased. As I told you, it increased from 18.9% to 21%, especially in the rural areas also there is increase in labor force participation rate among females. Why? Because if you see, mainly major factor is MG Narega. Okay, MG Narega, because out of this 33 members or 30% of the members are women beneficiaries only. So you can say feminization of agriculture. So these are the things which are increasing the female labor force participation rate, especially in the rural areas. Then one of the other significant factor is feature of the thing is slow and steady transition is there right from agriculture, away from agriculture into the non-farm sectors. That means previously half of the population used to find their employment in agriculture or agri-based industries only, but now it is decreasing from agriculture to other non-farm sectors. The people are finding their employment opportunities. That is one major finding. Then employment is predominantly self-employment or casual. Rather than working, they're trying to self-employed. Okay, so for this only we have this PM Swanidhi, self street vendors. No, we have PM Swanidhi, like these type of programs we have. Then 82% of the workforce are there in informal sector. This is not at all a good sign. Okay, so there should be more formalization of economy, for which only we have this GST and all these are the measures which are brought. So formal economy is always good because more tax realization can be there. Tax to GDP ratio also can increase. But if you have more people in the informal sector, that is not at all a good sign. And if you see wages of casual laborers, okay, so that is showing an upward trend, but still if you see real wages that have remained stagnant or declined. So real wages only, that means after accounting inflation, if you calculate, that should always have a positive sign, but they are stagnant or declined. Then migration levels, if you see, those are not adequately captured, means there is no official data related to what is the level of migration, what is the scale of migration in the country. Then the rates of urbanization and migration are also going to increase. So you know, in migration we have push factors along with pull factors. Okay, so these are the things which you need to remember. So there can be four types of migration: urban to urban, rural to rural you can have, rural to urban you can have, and urban to rural. This is called reverse migration we call. Who are these type of programs are there to show this type of migration only. Okay, we wanted to make rural areas self-sufficient. Abdul Kalam, he has this vision of implementing this Pura type of thing. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. Then migration rate is expected to grow to 40% in 2030, and urban population is expected to reach around 607 million by 2030. That means we are having more urbanization that will result in more migration and more employment opportunities. The main push factor of urban areas is more employment opportunities outside farm. That means non-agricultural activities will be predominant. No, that is the main criteria of urban areas. No? What are the criteria for urban area? Minimum 5,000 population should be there, and at least 75% of the people they should find their employment in non-farm sectors. Okay, and the density of population should be more than 400 persons per square kilometers. This is what the criteria to be there for an urban area. So these are the things which you need to remember. Then what are the challenges with respect to youth employment? Means they said working age population are there now, huge population. That means there is youth population you can say, then working age population we have, then we have old age population. So this is less than 15 years you can say, 15 to 59 years working age. Old age means greater than 59 60 years you can say, this is old age. So now we are having more working age population that is realizing in demographic dividend. If you can better take advantage of this demographic dividend, then it can definitely contribute to our economic growth. Okay, so now youth population is around 27% in 2021, but now it is expected to decline. Means we are about to decrease from that level, and we are about to reach 23% by 2036, and by 2040 almost this demographic dividend will be completely absent. Okay, so now this 7 to 8 million youth what we have in the labor force, for that productive utilization has to be there. Okay, that otherwise we cannot reap the benefits of demographic dividend. That is what cautioned by this report. And youth participation is almost lower than compared to the adults in the labor force, because they're trying to enhance their skills after education only. They're trying to find their employment. That is why compared to adults, youth participation in the labor force is very less. That is what highlighted. Then unemployment in the youth is also very high. Almost it was 5.7% in 2000. It reached 12.1% in 2022. So, and after lockdown, if you see more youth population, okay, they're trying to find out their jobs quickly, and there is reduction in the unemployment rate. That is also found in this report. And in addition to the labor force and workforce, there is also poor quality work which is associated with this youth population. Means they're trying to find some work, okay, whether it is suiting them or not, underemployment or not, that's not checking these type of things. Okay, so this is also one key highlight of this report. Then what are the suggestions they have provided? So increase in job creation opportunities, this should be done from the government side, and improving employment quality, addressing labor inequalities. Okay, so what are the gaps out there between these in creation of those jobs, that has to be addressed. Strengthening skills as well as active labor policies should be brought for ease of doing business. Then bridging the gap deficits in knowledge or in labor participation and youth employment opportunities have to be strengthened. Then what are the initiatives brought by the government in this regard? So first thing is MG Narega we have. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Program 2005. This was brought to create 100 days of minimum 100 days work in rural areas for unskilled labor. Adult, okay, any adult in rural areas, if they're willing to do unskilled work, they will be provided 100 days. Okay, so and do remember, social audit is one feature of this MG Narega, and Meghalaya is the only state which has mandated to provide social audit. Okay, and do remember, in case if they don't provide 100 days work for them, they have to provide compensatory allowance. This is also one provision. Then second thing is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. This is with respect to skill, okay, creation. In 2015, we brought this program. Then we have Startup India, startups. Okay, this is also one. Smile we have. This is scheme for you can say this is a marginalized people for their livelihood enterprises. For that you have Smile. Then recently we have this PM Daksh Yojana also. Daksh is nothing but Pradhan Mantri Dakshata or Kaushalyata Sampan Hitagrahi program is also brought by this government of India. Then we have many number of schemes. Okay, so whatever we have like Pradhan Mantri Employment Generation Program, Rozgar Yojana, all these other schemes which are there for providing more employment opportunities. Okay, so these things you have to quote in mains related answer related to employment. What is the way forward then? Promoting labor intensive industries instead of capital intensive. Okay, so in India, as we have huge population, it is not viable or it is not feasible if you shift to capital intensive. That is why, if you have remembered, if like artificial intelligence, one of the benefit we have, on the other side we have the negative thing is it will lead into huge job losses. Okay, it will lead to huge job losses because as we are labor intensive country, so this type of things cannot be like absorbed by Indian economy. So along with this, we have to draft a national employment policy on the same lines of national education policy. These things will help in solving the problems related to employment. Okay, then let's see the practice question given yesterday. Which decade has been designated as the UN decade for biodiversity? Answer is 2011-20. Okay, then what is the practice question for today is International Labour Organizations Conventions 138 and 182 are related to child labor, adoption of agriculture practices related to global climate change, regulation of food prices and food security, gender parity at the workplace. Among the options, choose the correct one and answer in the comment section. Then the main question, while we flaunt India's demographic dividend, we ignore the dropping rates of employability. What are we missing while doing so? Where will the jobs that India desperately needs come from? Explain. This was asked in UPSC in 1 year mains. Okay, so try to answer these type of questions, then you will have an idea how to answer the questions and how to develop answer writing skills. Now, as we have come to the end of the video, today we have discussed about India Employment Report 2024, which was released by ILOI, Institute of Human Development. We also have seen what are the types of unemployment, what are the causes of unemployment. Okay, then we have seen what are the government initiatives in this regard, along with the key highlights of this report. So this is all with respect to this video. Thank you for watching. Have a